What does it truly mean to be free? Is it the absence of rules, the ability to do whatever we want? Or is it something deeper, something internal? According to Nietzsche, real freedom isn't about escaping external constraints, but about breaking free from the weight of shame. He asks us, what is most humane? To spare someone shame. But why? Why is shame such a destructive force? Why does Nietzsche believe that a truly liberated person is one who no longer feels ashamed of themselves? Let's explore the ways shame shapes our lives and how overcoming it can lead to genuine freedom. The burden of shame. At its core, shame is the feeling that who we are is not who we should be. It's that voice inside telling us we don't measure up, not to our own standards, but to the expectations imposed on us by society, family, and culture. Think about it. When we were children, we didn't have shoulds. We simply were. We laughed when we were happy, cried when we were sad, and acted on instinct. But as we grew up, we were told how we should behave, what it means to be a real man or a proper woman, how we should speak, think, dress, and live. Slowly, we internalized these expectations, and when we failed to match them, we felt ashamed. When shame takes root, many people create a false self, a mask they wear to gain approval and avoid rejection. Let's take Timmy as an example. Timmy was a sensitive, artistic, and deeply intuitive child. He loved painting, found joy in music, and was deeply moved by emotions. But his mother constantly compared him to his more athletic, extroverted brother. You should be more like him. Real men don't cry. You're too soft. Over time, Timmy absorbed this message. Who I am is not who I should be. He began suppressing his true self. Instead of embracing his creativity, he forced himself to lift weights, play football, and adopt a hyper-masculine persona. Not because he enjoyed it, but because he believed it was the only way to be accepted. But here's the problem. When you build a life around what others expect, you disconnect from yourself. Timmy became a shell of a person, disconnected from his real emotions, surrounded by people who never truly knew him. His relationships were not built on love, but on performance. He wasn't truly living. He was acting. When we reject our true selves to meet society's expectations, we may gain approval, but at what cost? We feel empty. Living through a mask prevents real emotional fulfillment. We feel lonely. Even when surrounded by people, if they only know our false self, we remain unseen and disconnected. We live in fear of being exposed, of slipping up, of being found out as someone who isn't truly what we pretend to be. At some point, Timmy had a realization. The life he was living wasn't his own. He was trapped in toxic relationships where he existed only to meet other people's expectations. He asked himself, what am I getting out of this? And the answer was, nothing. So he made a choice. He stopped trying to be someone he wasn't. He found people who appreciated him for who he really was. He reconnected with his art. He stopped performing and started living. And in doing so, he found true freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever he wanted, but the freedom to be who he was meant to be. Nietzsche believed that true liberation comes when we no longer feel ashamed of ourselves. That doesn't mean we abandon personal growth. It means we stop living under the tyranny of shoulds. Of course, there's a difference between toxic shame, who I am is wrong, and healthy shame, I can improve. The former is destructive. It suppresses the true self. The latter can be a catalyst for growth. But that's a topic for another time. For now, the takeaway is this. The more we shed the weight of shame, the closer we come to living fully, authentically, and freely. So, ask yourself, are you living for others or for yourself? And if the answer is the former, what are you going to do about it?